Welcome to FilmIn5D, the show that teaches everything film in the 5D Mark II. I'm your host, Aaron Hammock. This week, we talk about exposure. With the increasing availability of professional-grade products and their consistent decrease in price, independent filmmakers like myself can make quality work at minimal expense. Now, more than ever, with the Canon 5D Mark II, even you can make professional quality films. However, filmmaking isn't easy, but hey, let's figure it out. On the show, we'll be covering everything DSLR video has to offer, as well as all of the bases from pre to post-production. This show will also be featuring an array of short films and skits, all shot in the Canon 5D. So get your glasses on, because this is FilmIn5D. Dude, what's up with you lately?
I don't know, man. Craziest things have been happening to me.
You sure you're not just dreaming?
Well, at first that's what What are you doing?
I'm writing the script for this week. Why?
It's you.
What are you talking about?
It's been you this entire time.
Look, man, I can tell you're upset, but...
Upset? You've been haunting me for the past 2 weeks.
Sorry, but I thought this premise would be terrific for the show. You know, to show people what their cameras are capable of.
So, in order to illustrate this, you thought it best to torture me?
Well, I wouldn't call it torture, but...
What then?
Play.
Alright. I'll play along. You don't scare me. You're not even real.
I'm more real than you ever were. Which is why I'm going to take over your position on FilmIn5D.
Really? Is that the best you could do?
Totally meta, and that's freaking awesome.
Look, you're not real. None of this is real.
We'll see about that.
In fact...
That's not gonna work. Like I said, I'm not just a figment of your imagination. I am your reality.
I told you, that was freaking awesome, man. Well, what'd you think? This is pretty good, yeah?
Dude. Screw you, man.
I liked it. Exposure. Okay, so when we talk about exposure, we're actually talking about the degree to which light influences the look of a shot.
Oh, the whole time I thought we were talking about something else.
Nope. We're talking about film stuff, Kolton. Exposure is affected by three things in particular: f-stop, shutter speed, and ISO. Now, we talked about ISO in a past episode, but to put it into terms with exposure, the higher the ISO, the more sensitive the sensor is to light, and vice versa. Shutter speed refers to the actual amount of time that the sensor is exposed to light. For instance, a 1/150th shutter speed will expose an image for twice as long compared to a 1/100th shutter speed. Aperture, or f-stop, is another variable for exposure. The lower the f-stop, the more light the lens lets through to the sensor.
You know, every time I hear the word f-stop, cameras aren't exactly the first thing that come to my mind.
Hey, well, we're talking about exposure this week, so it all makes sense. The 5D and other DSLRs come with an exposure meter that can be extremely useful when it comes to getting the exposure you want. The left side of this meter is an underexposed image, and the right side is an overexposed image. Using these three variables together, we can set the correct exposure for each and every shot. Personally, I like to underexpose by 1 to 2 notches because I find that it's much harder to retain information in post that has been overexposed. Although you can use f-stop, shutter speed, and ISO to set proper exposure, every situation will be different. Depth of field varies at different f-stop values. Low f-stop values give you a shallower depth of field, whereas high f-stop values give you a deeper depth of field. The smoothness or choppiness of a shot is affected by the shutter speed. Low shutter speeds give a motion blur that is more natural and realistic, whereas high shutter speeds have less motion blur but more choppiness. Therefore, the values of these two variables are primarily used for artistic purposes, and you should keep this in mind when setting exposure. Are you going for an action or war film look, like Saving Private Ryan? You might want to go with a higher shutter speed. Or are you looking for a deep depth of field, as was made famous by Citizen Kane?
Looks happy to me.
The point is, yes, these variables can help you to quickly set exposure, but you need to be aware of the artistic implications that they can have on the look and feel of your films.
Oh yeah, I can't hear it.
Alright, here we go. This guy's doing circles. How about the wind? Alright. In my opinion, ISO is the most flexible tool when it comes to setting exposure in your camera. Of course, you'll want to avoid pushing your ISO too high, or else your image will have a ton of grain. So what happens when you're shooting outside and you want a shallower depth of field, but your ISO is all the way down and you can't lower your f-stop value without overexposing your image? An ND filter is probably your best option. This one here reduces anywhere from 1 to 20 stops of light, allowing you to use wider apertures and achieve a shallow depth of field without overexposing your image. You can also use a matte box or hood to lessen the amount of light that's hitting your sensor. I'm just going to try to get it in there real fast. Therefore, the values of these two variables you can use any of these options to help you set exposure. Just be aware of the artistic implications that adjusting these variables can have on your films. And that's it for this week, but you can always follow me on Twitter at Aaron Hammock, and we'll return next week to give you an introduction to color correction. Whoop! There it is.
You like that sound?
They like it.
This, son.
They like it. Get your junk out of my face.
That's what she said.
How dare you!
3. Hey, get in the frame, and action. Action. Action.